Just a bit of a public service announcement for those of you watching this. If you have not already laid in a supply of these are 60-watt GLS lamps, but this also applies to 40s. If you have not already acquired a bunch of these, do so, because as of a couple days from now you will not be able to get them. And that also applies to these parabolic luminized reflector lamps that aren't high efficiency. If you... in that case... Yes, hello, deadly cat. This is the internet and cats are everywhere. Ah! Considering that he's 15, he's pretty feisty. But then again, he's the Black Clove Death, what do you expect? And, so yeah. Get them, because that idiot shrub, rhinocrat bush. Only problem is that the replacement is orders of magnitude worse. Fuzzy deadly cat. Cats. So yeah. Offend a hippie, buy GLS lamps. Cats. It's just what the little bugger's done to my arm past week. And he's the good cat. So yeah. But then again, he's reasonably friendly. Just likes to rip things to pieces. Like, humans. Good cat. And as an example of prescience, this is a whole bunch of 60 watt and 75 watt and 100 watt lamps. Well, anything 100s, but I've got a bunch more at about this time. 29 cents a 2-pack, which very lucky if you can find them that cheap nowadays. And of course these were Polish made Philips lamps in question. Actually, some of the ones are right in that box right back there. And yeah, so and the 75s are Mexican, I think. The 100s were Indonesian, so they're kind of crap, but that's Indonesian Philips for you. But as an idea of the date, February 15th, 2009. So yeah, prescience pays off. Knock on wood. Good. I've got 60s there that I just recently featured in a video. 100s. More 100s right there. Again, aforementioned lamps. That thing which has a bunch of 60 watt GLS lamps in it. That red light box. There's a case of 60s down there. Whole bunch of mixed lamps in that box right there. Likewise, this one, like a reflector globe. Also a 300 watt right here. Big. Really hard to find those actually. And of course, no, I think that's what the box is because it's squished. But yeah. And I've got, of course, this box, which is a whole bunch of heat lamps, bluish plant lamps. By those 50 watt or 20s, those are another thing you can't get anymore. But I have some. And of course, lots of halogens in there. None of the high efficiency rubbish. Well, there are a couple, but that's just because I need to use the box because I need the space. 60 watt bug lights, 25 watt yellow lamps, brass base 2, and 3 support C9 filaments. General Electric has discontinued those, I think. And I got those for maybe like $2 or $3 a case of 24, over 2 years ago. Some of my really old, really crappy video cameras back when I had a video camera that sucked. 25 watt GLS, you can still sort of get those. 75 watt clears, haven't been able to get those in almost a year. 90 watt bug lamps, you can still sort of get those. 40 watt clears, won't be able to get those in a couple of days. 57 watts, I think those fall under the 60 watt ban. And those, of course, are also yeah, those are also brass based as well, which is good. And 90 watt and 100 watt, not high efficiency PAR 38s. Those are another thing that you haven't been able to get in a year and a half. Full reflector lamps, I think those American or Chinese. Yeah, Chinese crap, but yeah, better than nothing. Those are another thing they're looking at banning, I think, even if it isn't right now. Or 75 or 57 watts, except they kind of lied on the thing. Those are silica coat, you know, pseudo inside for us, not clear. That a bit of the code is wrong. I do have some other examples that I got in Clears from Granger of those. And I got that for I think like $5 or something, you know, or less, you know, because all these cases were required for, you know, Mad Sheep. And some of these are, you know, clear lamps. And there. These are halogens, I think. Those don't. I think those are 25 watts. So yeah, that's one of the ones. They labeled the box on the side for some inexplicable reason. And of course, more reflector lamps in there. But yeah. This is why you'll be prescient about this stuff, because then you'll actually be able to get these. Or you'll actually have them when normal people aren't able to get them anymore in the commercial. So, more amps. I think some of these are crap inside for, or these are some of the crap Indonesian econo-watts. Like I think one or two of these things are, but I've also got a bunch of the really good, really old Mexicans that ones that I got. They're, you know, Mexican Phillips, which is, you know, reasonable quality. And those I acquired almost 6 years ago. Yeah, helps to have been collecting for a while now. And also some of these are, you know, regular full power. These are older General Electric Watt Miser, but they're great value, Wally World House branded. Those are, again, acquired like 2009, 2010, thereabouts. And of course, General Electric 40 watt long life brass based 1 year plus lamps, which you haven't been able to get in almost 5 years. Reflector lamps. Those guys. Those are some of my Aerotech lamps, although some of those are American light bulb company branded lamps, even though they're lamps, not light bulbs, but that's just semantics. But they're all made in the same factory in Mullen, South Carolina. And more mess of stuff in there and there, but yeah, big collection. Of course, some old early 1950s vintage Kentucky radio branded lamps. 15 watts AC or DC. Very old. Some Sylvania Electric Products Lifelines. Those are F30 T12s. Those are F15 T12s. Those are another thing that idiots are looking at banning, you know, T12 fluorescent lamps, because they're not quite as efficient as T8s, but they're also far easier to start. I mean, I've got some of these even now in the dead of winter when it's, you know, bloody cold, because, you know, global warming, we're going to roast to death. We get more bunk. Even though I've got some of these in preheat fixtures, which are generally rated at between 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 50 degrees Fahrenheit minimum, otherwise the lamps will start. They will start, as will some trigger start fixtures that I have in use in very cold conditions. And T8s don't do that because, you know, much thinner arc tube, far harder to establish a discharge in it. And of course, we've also got a bunch more gold lamps there. Don't know what date code on that particular lamp is, though, because that's one of the things that I don't know how to interpret. So I don't know. There's probably there are people who know how to interpret those. So who knows? I'll maybe post something on this video. Hint, hint. But yeah. Lots of lamps. And there's probably a whole bunch of hippies screaming bloody murder at this. And, yes. And of course, probably a number of these guys are going to be playing Host to Earth Hour, because this year I actually want to break the 20,000 watt mark. This past year it was only about 17,700 and change watts. But yeah, we have another generator that we were given, so load testing. Yay. But yeah,